So the name of this model is the Home Studio cell phone booster, and they had just ripped out, it looked like a whole garage, and there was one that I really want. Welcome to Time by the Tent. Another weekend here up at the land. Had a lot of rain this weekend, had some dampness here and there. Other than that, everything looks really good. Got one more trip from the car to bring up. I got a rock I found down there. It'll go around the fire pit. I got a cell phone booster, which we will install momentarily, and some more water that we're bringing in. And nice day today. You are prepping kindling for the fire. Everything's really damp. I don't know when it rained. I have to look at the I guess, what day was it?
I think it was Wednesday.
Wednesday or Thursday. Partly cloudy. Supposed to be rain tomorrow mid-morning and then stop, and then later in the afternoon. Got a company coming and doing a quote for what we want to have done for a driveway tomorrow. So I got to get the flag up, and we're going to eat. What are we having for lunch today?
Pasta salad and kielbasa.
All right. And then I got to go down and cut a tree for the post for the cell phone booster. And because we have one bar up here, we can make phone calls, we can send text, but that's it. If we need to check the weather, if we need to deal with an email because of our business, any of that stuff, almost non-existent unless it's like 2 in the morning. Then you can pretty much do anything you want. So we purchased the cell phone booster ourselves. We made a lot of calls. We understand how this works and what we're supposed to do. So we will install that. You'll come along with us, and we'll see, based on what we've read, based on what we've talked to, whom we talked to, this will make a tremendous difference.
Yeah. Even like the reviews online.
Had one bar, now I got 4.
Yeah, now I have 4. And I think it can vary, but it sounds like it'll be just a lot better, more consistent.
We're not trying to stream Netflix, okay?
No, we're not trying to stream anything, but it's just very frustrating, especially if you're just trying to send a text. Sometimes I have to send them once or twice, and it's annoying.
Yeah, not that we want to be disconnected, or is that disconnected? But it's a world of connectivity, so we've got to be connected. All right, we will get lunch going, and I'll go down the car and get the rest of the items. This, for you who are new, this is our double wall tent here in the Northwoods of Wisconsin that we camp in on a weekly basis and hunt from as well. I need one of these little rocks now. Found this down the road. They had graded. There we go. They graded the road and saw this thing just down the road from where the parking pad is, kicked to the side. So I had to bring that up. Starting to come together. Try to get rid of all the small rocks and just focus on the big rocks. What is it, kielbasa? Is that what this is? Yeah. And then the homemade pasta salad. We had a little incident for tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I accidentally brought an open, I didn't realize it was open, bag of pancake mix, so
there that is.
You said whatever that is?
No, I said that's what it is. And so everything in the bag got coated with pancake mix, so we'll figure something else out.
Yeah.
So that is the pole for the cell phone booster. Could not ask for a better, straighter, more solid pole. 29 foot long. It's going to go in the ground 2 foot. So that puts it at 27. We've got a 1 foot bracket. That's 28. It can't be any higher out of the ground than 30 feet 9 inches. That's what the instruction says. So I'll be real close to that mark. Now I got to go back in the back and dig a hole where I want it, and then because we're in the modern technology at home, I figured out that I guess it's geometry from the tip of what the post would be to where the receiver will be in the tent, it has to be at least 20 feet in distance or 50 feet linear. And based on what I figured out, we're going to be over that 20-foot minimum requirement. So I'll go dig the hole, and then I've got to bring it around that way, because if I bring it that way, the supporting cable for our tarp is going to be in the way. It's going to go pretty close. Well, I may change where I'm going to put it because of how tall this is compared to the TV antenna. But so far this weekend, we've had two casualties. One, the thermocell. I took it apart to see if I could fix it, and it got worse. It wouldn't stay lit. It would light for a little bit and then flicker out, and I have to relight it. Wasn't doing any good. Had problems last week, but thought maybe it was the wind. And then we're smoking meat right here. Our digital oven thermometer, it started out at 223 degrees. That's what it thought the refrigerated 40-degree meat was. So we'll have to get a new one of those, a new thermocell. I've had this happen before with these digital thermometers, that they work fine and they go wacky, and then I've changed batteries and reset them and they work fine, but we're not at 278. We started at 223, so we're up 50 degrees from whatever the temperature was. So I'm going to have to figure out, kind of watch it and guess and open it up, and it's not going to be as fun as just letting it go until the thermometer hits what 155. So, all right, now on to the cell booster. I've got the hole dug. Now I got to get the post back there in position, and then start hooking up the hardware. All right, so I've measured it. I'm going to be in the hole. Post's going to be in the ground 32 inches, and then from that ground level to here is 28 plus 4, so about 28 and a half, give or take a few inches here. Now, this is a WeBoost system, and it's designed for one room. I called the main company, and then I also called a distribution company that sells this and several other brands, and both indicated that this would be the best option for the situation that we're in. I called a different company and explained the situation with the tent and being on a post and all of this, and they indicated that they could not suggest any of their products because there had to be some kind of wall between the receiver, the outdoor antenna, and the indoor antenna, or I call it a modem, which is not the correct term. So WeBoost said this will work. Now, one thing you need to be aware of is that cell phones run on different bands, and there's an app or apps in which you can purchase that will allow you to see where you're currently at, what band you're pulling off of. Where we're at, we pull off 2, 13, 5, 12, and 66. 66 is not as prevalent. The repetitive times in which I've checked over the last week, or when I was up here last weekend and the weekend before that, before we decided to make the move on this. But this will handle all the other bands. So I've just got to mount the outdoor receiver and make sure I get the orientation right with the drainage hole in it. Again, we paid for this. We bought it off Amazon, which was the most economical price compared to the manufacturer's website and the other distributor's website. Comes with two 30-foot coax cables and a female adapter. And this is not a how-to, this is just our experience with the unit. I will affix the first 30 feet here and then tack it to the post with the expectation that this will work and we don't have to take it down and send it back because it doesn't do what it says it will do, or the expectations of what we would say or are looking for it to do. Everything just finger tight is what the instructions say. No need to have anything more. Okay, I'm going to get my cable nails or my wire tie downs and get this thing up and in the hole. So for my wire clamps, I am using old vacuum tubes. A vacuum tube that is cut in about 2.5 inch, 2 inch pieces, and I'll go every 3-4 feet. It worked quite well for the TV antenna cable. You can use whatever wire clamps you want. This is what I created to have no additional cost that was not unnecessary, and we will get it up and then hook it up inside and get the orientation the best we can. And the expectation is somewhat high here to see if this is going to work well. So we got it in the ground now. We had to do like the what is it? The people, the Egyptians, did kind of a slope because it just would not pivot the way we needed it to, and we just weren't strong enough to get it to lift up. So it's 28 feet from ground level to the top of the receiver. So now I'm going to take and hook the other coax cable up and just run it on top of the ground into the tent where the receiver is. First, I'm going to turn this outdoor antenna to the direction of the closest antenna based on an app that I have. And then once we get it hooked up, then Holly's going to be in there and I'll be out here, and we'll see which signal, which we adjust at 1/8 of a turn at a time, unplug it, plug it back in, and then see which area is the strongest. Now, as you saw, it took us 4 tries to get this post in. Whew, that was a doozy there. Try to unravel this in a better way, but we got it in. Now I'm hooking up the 2 coax cables here. They're 60 foot total, and I'm going to loosely run it. I'm just going to run it on top of the ground. I'll bury it eventually here, but just connecting it. I'm going to swivel the antenna in the direction of the closest tower, and then run this underneath the wall of the tent and hook it up inside. Open Signal is the app that I'm using. Sometimes I get a signal on it. Here we go. Let's click on tower. So I need to spin it completely around and point it, what it's saying, that direction there. I don't know. Yeah. Must be picking up multiple towers. So if I stand here, there's no tower that way, so I'm going to have to spin it anyway, at least that direction. So the name of this model is the Home Studio cell phone booster. So now we've got the coax cable ran in here behind the TV where we want it. That is the receiver power antenna, and the cable's right there. We used every bit of 60 foot. Comes along there and goes behind the cabinet or the shelf there. Now we're going to see what we can make happen. Just so you have a reference, we have one bar. That's it. And can make phone calls and texts, but that's about it, unless it's late at night or you get a little burst of a signal here and there. Okay, well, step over here. Right now, we've just plugged it in. All our lights are illuminating green, and I'm setting at 4 bars, which doesn't happen very often. Now, we can move that over there, so when we're in bed, we can get a stronger signal.
I got 2.
Okay. If you set right here, what does that give you? So we have moved the indoor antenna from behind there onto the power station, and when we leave, we'll unplug it and just set it on the VCR. Yes, we have a VCR. So what we have determined is, well, right here I'm getting 4 bars. And then it's between 3 and 4 bars, 2 to 4 bars based on where you're at and how many people's on the network. And at night, I think we're going to get more bars. And then when the leaves come off the trees, it's going to be like incredibly powerful. But what do you think?
I'm happy with it. It's fine.
I mean, we can do anything that we could have done at home with our Spectrum internet.
I wouldn't say it's that good, but it's because some stuff took a little bit to load.
But it loaded in a fraction of the time, and it loaded, period.
Yeah.
Other times it would just clock out.
Right.
And I did look at this. Let's look at the power consumption. It's pulling no watts whatsoever, this indoor light or indoor antenna. I had read that it would pull 15 watts, but when I had the light on, it pulls 18, 19. So we bought this with our own money because we want to have a decent signal here to get on and deal with business stuff, or if we want to check the weather and we got a storm coming in, that type of thing. Also, we've got Tacticams, and because we're in a low signal area, it is a pain to check, to try to find a signal in order to switch them or check them or see what's on the camera. Or if the camera tent security one goes off and you're in the tent, to try to get it to feed to see if what's out there or who's out there before you address the situation. Now we have kind of another level of security to deal with. Yeah. So, not that, we are happy with this. And if you've got questions and you're looking at a situation that kind of what we are, you can certainly send us an email. It's in the description below. We're not affiliated. We're not any of this stuff. We will put the link, our affiliate, Amazon affiliate link to this, because this is the cheapest of all the companies we've looked at that sells this particular model. So if you're interested, I'm happy with it. I would say it's a solid 4.5, 4 3/4 stars.
Yeah.
It does exactly what we want it to do.
Right.
Took a lot longer than I had planned to do 2 other things in the process of, I wanted to cut wood and I got to get the garden planted down there. So I did cover the coax cable. next to the TV. Neither one are interacting with each other because they're on two very different frequencies. And then I just took soil and covered the cable because I've got a coax cable going to the TV antenna there. So TV tower is a little, oh, just the way the curvature of that tree is. And then this here, happy with it. Not gonna, didn't adjust anything, and it just happened that the white cable was on the back side. So that's the Studio WeBoost cell phone booster at our off-grid property here in the Northwoods of Wisconsin. Yeah, that tree, yeah, looks good. Even though it's a little leaning here or there, it's not about straightness on this application. Well, the venison is done. I didn't put a glaze on it. It is a little more done than what I normally would, but I'm working with a thermometer that thinks it's like 200 degrees hotter than what it really is. So it turned out really nice. We'll just make our own glaze, cut it, then I'll let this set rest for a little bit, and then serve it up with baked beans.
Yep.
All right. We also got this cordless battery operated leaf blower just to help fuel the fire, as well as clean leaves out when the fall comes, clean trails. It runs, I think, like 15-20 minutes on high and up to 40 minutes on low, but it appears, based on what preliminary things I've done, it works fairly well. So happy with that, just to have something up here to, instead of raking all the time, and easy to get leaves blown off of this, that, and another. Still happy with the booster.
I mean, I'm not boosted right now.
No, the cell booster.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was worth the investment. We had to do something because there's times up here when we get up here at noon on a Saturday, we have no internet until we get 15 minutes down the road to a town on Sunday night. And if something happens, we don't know, news-wise or email-wise or something like that. So that's how it's gone. So once we get plated up, we'll show you what we've got. Needs a little help. There would be a very expensive dinner at a restaurant, Smoke Shack. Venison, smoked venison, roast, back straps. I think there's a brisket in there, something in there, a couple of different cuts, and then baked beans, and then we also have chips. Well, how's it look?
Yummy.
So we will get a better a new thermometer so we can do it correctly, because I think it's like maybe 5 degrees overcooked. It's a tiny bit dry because we're just guesstimating. This doesn't have a glaze on it like normal. It does have a nice smoke ring on it, and then we'll add our own sauces. Want to conclude the cell phone booster by saying if you have to have a signal in order to intensify in order for the booster to work. If you are in a remote area and there's no signal, this is not going to help you. Also, it all determines, the unit we have, the studio unit, is supposed to be for 1,500 square feet, but it all determines on how strong the signal is coming into the unit to distribute that on the indoor antenna. We have a very weak signal, so the distribution of the square footage is much, much smaller than if we had a 3 or a 4 bar coming in to start with. So keep that in mind if you're interested in, or you're looking at something to increase your boost signal at your campsite, your deer camp, whatever that is, your homestead. Keep those pieces of information in mind. So this is our drone. We got this drone, it was an open box. return, I guess, and we got it for a reduced price. It came in a soft-sided, almost like a purse type of bag. We've had that for a couple of years now. And we had a friend, our neighbor has a friend who utilizes or buys watches and then sells them, and the watches come in this container here. He's got several different sizes. So I took the drone out of that soft-sided bag, which we come up to camp every week, and gets banged around in a big duffel bag. Now we don't have to worry about it getting banged around. It's very secure in this watertight case, and I've got a larger case for all my camera gear. Took it out of the duffel bag as well. So utilize what you can find in order to maximize the protection of the items you have. And each bay, they all look like this, but I just cut the bays out in order to fit the needs that I have for the drone. And works really well. And we know all the drone stuff's in this one. We know all the camera gear's in the other one. And we don't have to dig around and find certain things that we're looking for in the duffel bag. Good morning. It is raining. We've got about a 2-hour band of rain coming through, and that's it. We're gonna make coffee. You're gonna make coffee. I'll make coffee for you.
Yeah, my nice husband's gonna make me some coffee. And we're just gonna eat like granola bars and fruit for breakfast for now.
So we've got a couple of issues. We've seen this before. This water coming down, hitting our stove, and then dripping. And I went out there and watched it, and it's not going in where the pipe cover is at, or the cap is at. I've got 2 extensions on it, and I believe the water's getting in through the seam of this newest extension that I put on, and then coming down and running down the pipe. Now there's no other way to insert. I can't invert the pipe to where the water would run on the inside even if I wanted to, because of the way the stove here, the pipe seats on the stove. So that's the next week's project. I got to take that apart and see if I can figure out what's causing it. When the fire's roaring, it's not a big deal, but we're getting, when we're not here and it's not, stove's not going, this rusting and all this other muck. So, and then the outdoor shed out there, every time it rains, the wagon that I have in there has rain in it, water in it. So I walked over there and walked in it with this rain, and there's a lot of different, because it's just a makeshift dumpster bags, there's a lot of holes where the seams have been, where I took the seams apart in order to flatten it out, and the connections where it is leaking quite a bit in there. Not that it's wetter in there than it is outside, but so I'm gonna have to figure out some kind of like Flex Seal or rubber spray in which I can spray on that in order to seal that off, because why have a shed if it's going to be wetter inside than it is outside when it rains? So that's another project. So 2 things there. It's good to be up. It's good to be on your property when it's raining, so you can see the problems and not just come in later and go wonder what happened here. So that's the plan for the moment. The driveway estimate individual is going to be coming an hour later today than what he had planned. So the rain should be close to kind of being done by that point. The rain has stopped. The people have been here for the quote for the driveway. Wanted to show you, found another cabinet on Marketplace for free. Has a little more shelving than what this other one has. It was 9 minutes from the house, and they had just ripped out, it looked like a whole like garage, and there was one that I really wanted to get that would have been like kind of what a 2-drawer or 2-door that would go above like an oven type of thing, but it had a big hole in the bottom, big hole in the top. This was the only salvageable one that was completely solid. So I'm trying to figure out where to put it. Always have need for more storage, so Going to put it right next to this other one. Doesn't impede the table usage, so it works out really well. You've heard breakfast for dinner. We're going to have breakfast for lunch. We've got diced potatoes in the cast iron, these apple and maple chicken mini link sausages, and we're going to do some pineapple fried over the fire. Next episode, I am going to upgrade our camping grate to a much better product, custom making it, and you'll see that on the next video. Rain has stopped. It's not as damp as I would think it probably would be.
I mean, it's damp, but it rained like all morning.
Yeah, but
for like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, quarter of an inch.
Yeah.
So after I eat, I'm going to go down and cut some more wood to get that piled up because I'm running out of time. The vegetation, as you see here, is advancing quite quickly vertically, and I've got about another hour of cutting to pile wood up, and that's going to be about as far as I can get because it just overgrows, and I know how to do it now. So, and you need to build the wood pile up, and I've got quite a bit down there.
Okay, so here's our plate. Potatoes, the chicken, maple something sausages, and then grilled pineapple.
So I spent the last hour cutting more wood and bringing it up. If you followed in past episodes, there's the garden. I planted that yesterday, got that completely planted. You can see more of that on our gardening YouTube channel, The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. This used to be a bog. You can see way down there, wetland. There's water down there, and it used to be way up high. A lot of trees have gone down, and before the vegetation gets really high, and we're getting close to about another 2 weeks, we're going to be maxed out at height, and all the limbs and stuff will be buried. For the last month, I've been processing wood. I'm not cutting anything that's vertical, though I did cut the vertical one for the cell phone booster, which that was the purpose, leave these vertical ones for projects and or emergency wood. But I've got a lot of trees down all through there. Big tooth aspen, there's some birch, but that's no good. Pine here and there. That one way there, that's an elm, but that's kind of in a precarious position that I don't want to get under. And so far, if that one ever fell, then I would process it and carry the wood to the road and pick the wood up and take it up. So all of this on this side here is for the stove. There's some aspen, mostly pine. I've got no birch in there, but aspen, pine. And then that will get hauled up, split if needed, and put in the wood hut, or split for excess split wood, and then all stacked up. Over here, I call it like trash wood, mucky wood, punky wood. All of this is for campfire burning. Yeah, it would burn in the stove, but it's really punky, not much good there. This here is this, that's a good piece there. We're going to move this one over. But treetops and just junk that would otherwise rot, but we can burn it in a campfire and it'll be perfectly fine. So don't need to show you me cutting firewood. You can go on YouTube and watch hours of people cutting and hauling wood. It turned out to be a very nice day after that rain cleared out. I'm very happy with the progress in which I got done, even with the rain. With the driveway, when we decided to make a move on that, I will go ahead and I want to dig those out, because those would be in line with removal. Dig those out and then put along just beyond the ditch in the cordage, is that what it's called? And plant over there just to add some more barrier there. And I think the other ones are probably just a little too big to dig up. Like this one here, though, would be on the outside of the driveway. This one here, I think it's just too big. There's too much roots. That one's 10 foot tall, but it's part of the process of driveway. I think Well, see, I don't even want to save this one here because this one's already starting to die. So there's no need to dig that up. This is the same way. There's some dead stuff on here. So down there, what I just showed you is the best one of the bunch. So I think we're getting close to wrapping things up here. I gotta haul some chunks up of cherry, which I processed. Not processed, I cut. That we smoke with. And get that up there for next week so I can cut them down in smaller chunks and put them in the bucket and in the smoker so we're ready for the next time we smoke. Well, that will do it. Another weekend here up at the land. Appreciate you coming along. Turned out to be a very nice day. If we've made it this far, why don't you put "sell" in the comments below. Let us know that you made it this far. CELL. Since we did install that cell phone booster and it worked. Happy with the cell phone booster?
Yeah.
Works very well as advertised. So that's one of the few things that we've purchased.
I was watching the TikToks last night.
They're watching the TikToks last night. But it's one of the few things where everybody said it will do what it's supposed to do, and it did exactly what it was supposed to do based on the information we provided. So we appreciate you coming along, and until next time, we'll see you then.